The Geography of 2B2E Remastered. Part 1, The Overworld. The Overworld is the main dimension. It's the dimension you first spawn in. And where most people spend their time. It has some of the most fascinating geography. With its familiar landscape defining 2B2E. At the heart of the overworld is Spawn. A wasteland centered around 0, 0. Spawn is between 1000, 1000 and -1000, -1000. And contains truly unique locations. Most of Spawn is on top of an ocean. It is covered in massive lava casts. Giant cobblestone structures made of solidified lava. As over the past 4 years, the area suffered griefing. Still structures remain, such as this one. Only temporary, as they are always found and destroyed. But they always pop up, new spawn bases. Bringing life and civilization to the desolation. At spawn you will find ender chests and portals. As ender chests are a safe way of storage. And the portals at spawn take you to Nether spawn. With the spawn ocean running underneath it all. Some say that there was once grass and land across spawn. But now only cobblestone and the sea. Building up, layer after layer. Until some lava casts reach height limit. And other lava casts stretch down to bedrock, hundreds of blocks wide. Another quirk of the overworld is reset chunks. A bug that occurs every so often. Where chunks are reset and become land. In the middle of the spawn ocean. Obsidian is also very common. As it's hard to break and used for crystals. Down at bedrock, near 0, 0 there are also vines. They have no use to new players, so have survived as there is no reason to remove them. Some of the last life in the wastes of spawn. There are also grass patches that have been placed or part of reset chunks. But like the spawn bases, they are temporary. There are also multiple unconnected trenches. Located at or around the spawn region. Like at -200, 300 and 1000. They are usually only 10 blocks wide. But cut down all the way to bedrock. Often with lava or crystals at the bottom. Due to spawning mechanics, the ++ quadrant is most destroyed. However, the negative quadrants are less chaotic. There the lava casts are infrequent and far between compared to ++. And there are less TNT and crystal craters in them. In some places, the ocean gives way to land. Always destroyed and cratered, but solid ground. This place is what remains of Project Ocean. Here it's a mess of sponges and obsidian, with pillars from people who fell. However, Northern Spawn is a different picture, as their Project Ocean was successful, draining the spawn ocean, but replacing it with the sponge fields. Thousands of bridges of sponges running parallel and on top of each other, defining much of Northern Spawn. But if you head beyond, there is tundra. Ice, snow, sometimes even animals roaming in the frigid reaches of far north Spawn. Intact terrain, one of the only places at Spawn. But you need to get through the sponges. Although Spawn is not the whole overworld, more lies beyond. Most people use the highways to escape Spawn. There are 4 in the overworld, on the 4-axis, north, south, east, and west. They start at Spawn and go far beyond. Between 70,000 blocks out and 250,000 blocks out, with north being longest highway. They are relatively well paved close to Spawn, but degrade into dirt paths the further you go. Shadows cover parts of Spawn, as near 1,000 blocks out, and 0 obsidian covers the sky. Similar to the one on 2B2T, it increases mob spawning. But over time they degraded, with holes in them. The area around Spawn, stretching to 10,000 blocks out, is Greater Spawn. Spawn bases and player activity is common. But there, nothing survives more than a few months. Traditionally, new players build bases there before moving further out, due to the perils. Grass is common in Greater Spawn, almost normal amounts. However, trees rarely exist within 5,000 blocks of Spawn. Beyond 10K, the overworld returns to normal, with scattered bases dispersed across normal terrain. From 50,000 blocks out, it is safe to build, but most bases are 100,000 blocks out. So that is the overworld. From cobblestone waste to peaceful bases, until 16 million blocks out, where the striped lands begin. Part 2, the Nether. The Nether is the arteries and veins of 2B2E. All major travel and base hunting happens there. Due to one simple fact, one Nether block is equivalent to 8 in the overworld. Therefore, Nether travel is 8 times quicker, but many more times dangerous. Where I am now is the Nether floor, the flat sheet of bedrock separating us from the void. It's usually covered in terrain in most of the Nether, but not at Spawn. The terrain under Nether Spawn about 150 to negative 150 negative 150 has been destroyed completely, leaving flowing mountains of lava at Y level 30. And in some places, an exposed floor, covered in obsidian due to seed PvP. The further you get from Nether Spawn, the more intact. But there is an odd variety of blocks. End chests, used for storage, like at Spawn. Boats, used for boat fly, that allows fast travel. Cobble, netherrack, and dirt bridges. End crystals used for PvP, and traps for new players. And also half portals. although they are present in the overworld. Ghasts make them more common in the Nether. Nether spawn is covered in 2 obsidian platforms. One at Y70, where most players go, and one at Y120, both of them leading to highway systems. Although the platforms are in constant peril, as withers create holes or even destroy them. There are 3 sets of aforementioned highways. 4 at Y30, north, south, east, and west. 8 at Y70, the same 4, plus the diagonals. And another 8 highways at Y120. These highways are the main way players get out of spawn. And as such, the spawn platforms are full of PvP airs and anvils, although I don't know why. There isn't many bases in the Nether. Some exist like oases, but they aren't common, as base hunters use the Nether to locate bases. And terrain generation is pre-1.16. But there are piglins and striders and pre-1.16 mobs. Along the spawn platforms and highways there are stairs connecting Y70 and Y120. As Y120 is more maintained, platform and highway. Vines are also along the highways for the same purpose. But now, onto some oddities. Nether water has historically existed on 2B2E. As such, there is a massive Nether lava cast. At about 600, make sure you check out my video on it. And others have been created in the past. The final quirk is irregular bedrock generation, as some parts of the Nether roof are flat, whereas other chunks have natural patterns. This could be due to a plugin or chunk resets. And on 2B2E, being above the Nether roof kills you, with there being a portal and staircase there. Above Nether spawn, back in 2022. Quartz has also been taken from the highways. And finally, at about Y100 near Nether spawn, the terrain is bombed out and there is an open space with a patchy floor and a gap stretching to the Nether roof, with straight portals, glowstone, and fire. All this adding up to make 2B2E's Nether a truly unique place. Part 3, the end. The end is accessible through only 2 public portals. One at 0380 and another at 400-800. And although private portals exist, most naturally generated portals are broken, making the 2 spawn portals into choke points, meaning they are often lavacasted over, or even themselves broken until admins relight them. Players like Fuego are notorious for doing such things, meaning the end is cut off for months on end. And with no way to set your spawn, it is empty. Just like the cold dark void around it. 2B2E's end was only accessible from the time of the Salt Wars. Prior to that it was untouched, didn't exist. As such, it is younger than the other dimensions. But it makes it no less interesting. End spawn is always exactly 100. Sometimes in a pit or a box to stop players, but rarely any actual traps, further displaying how devoid the dimension is. The end spawn island's obsidian pillars are gone. The Ender Dragon was vanquished long ago. And at least for now, the return portal is open. Located atop an obsidian pyramid, the actual end island has been very destroyed, with most terrain being bombed out and reduced to Y50. There, end stone interlocks with cobble. As a singular, ginormous lava cast covers the whole island. Although between Y50 and Y70 there is air, creating a surreal feel of a cobble roof and end stone floor, both having craters blown into them. The end has a main highway system at Y50, and 4 much smaller staircases limited to the main island. However, the Y50 highways spread out into the void, where the main island can be seen with clarity. And there it is. The end lava cast. From the outside stretching around the main island, and down into the void. But now we leave the main island. As in about 1,000 blocks through the void, more islands appear. At first small and empty, but then more. But on 2B2E, large end islands don't generate. Only small ones, but they are missing life, due to the staggered implementation of features. Chorus didn't exist for years, and nor did end cities. They still don't generate. But end ships did. So sometimes you can spot lone end ships gliding through the void. Old end bases like Beetle Town were uncommon, with only a handful being made. But after the introduction of Elytra, end travel was easy, and as such, spawn bases popped up in the end. Not large or grand, but they brought life to the end. There is also an end spawn trench shown here. Well, that's it, the geography of 2B2E. If there are any other videos you want to see me remake, please let me know in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching.